Welcome to another episode of the Studio 78 podcast. I am your host, Nache from NacheSnow.com. Welcome. Okay, so today I have Katherine on from the Kitty Meow Boutique, and she's going to talk to us all about how she was able to start her online store. And speaking of product-based businesses, this is the week, y'all. If you're listening to this live, the Product Powerhouse Summit is happening this week. That's being put on by the Boss Project. Yours truly has a session in there, how to organize your life in order to make space for your passion. The other speakers are all about really just focusing on like how you could take if you have a product-based business, how you could take your product-based business to the next level. They have some amazing, amazing speakers. So if you have not already signed up for it, remember just to go over to NacheSnow.com/boss project. All right. Also, if you guys are loving the Studio 78 podcast, if you could take 30 seconds to just hop on over to iTunes and just rate me 5 stars. That would be really appreciated. You could do it on the Apple Podcast app too. Also, if you're loving the podcast or loving this episode, please share it with your friends and family. It really, really helps out the show. All right, so on to Katherine. We dig into how she determined her pricing, how she got started. We talk about how she transitioned from her full-time job to doing this full-time. We talk a little bit about why she decided to get help and get like a virtual assistant, how she went from like handmade to really having her things sent out to printers, professional printers to get her stuff done. Oh my goodness, just all the things that you need to know when starting an online business, especially a product-based business. We end with some customer service tips that are really key so you can continue to get those customers to come back. And last but not least, if you love her and you go over to her website and you're loving all the things, at the end of this episode, she actually gives a 30% off code for her website. So yeah, have a listen. This is a really good episode. Here we go. Hello, Katherine, and welcome to the Studio 78 podcast.
Hello, Nache. I am so happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, I cannot wait to dive into your business because I just know a lot of people are going to go to your website and buy all the things.
I hope so.
But before we get into your business, can you just tell the listeners a little bit about you before you started Kitty Meow?
Yeah, so my name is Katherine. I went to school for graphic design. I'm from the Chicagoland area. When I graduated from college at Northern Illinois University, I packed up my Honda Accord and drove to Las Vegas and moved there. I had some family living there, and I just needed a change, and I thought it would be a great place to start my design career. I worked in nightlife and hotel advertising for some of Vegas's hottest nightclubs, and it was a really great place to be in my early 20s. Probably did way more partying than any person should. But yeah, so it was after the grind a little bit of working in that industry and not really feeling fulfilled that I decided to go off on my own with Kitty Meow and design stuff that brought me joy. And since then, I met my husband, and we've lived in Las Vegas, Arizona, California, Seattle, and now we just actually moved back to the Chicagoland area to be closer to family with our 2 little girls. And I've been so grateful to take my business with me wherever I go on these crazy, crazy journeys.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh my goodness. So number one, I'm born and raised in Chicago. So next time I'm in Chicago, I definitely have to, we have to do coffee or something.
Yes, but it's freaking cold here, so don't come now.
Yeah, I was there a couple of weeks ago, and it was right after the freeze.
Oh
and
my God.
So it was like everybody was like, oh, it's like a heat wave now because it was so cold. But that last day I was there, I was out that night, And literally the tears just dried up on my cheeks. And I was like, it's time to go. It's time to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish my family could have picked a warmer spot to congregate because I really loved living on the West Coast, but this is the best decision for our family at this stage in our life. So here we are.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because even like as a transplant here in the DC area, it's just you, right? So I couldn't even imagine it with kids. You know, you don't have, it's a little bit harder without that support system. So if you could go back to where your family is, you know, it makes life just a little bit easier. So I totally get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as far as, you know, your transition, so, you know, you're working in Vegas and you're just like, okay, I'm having fun, but this work is really just not for me. How do you then say like, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to start my own business. Did you do it on the side first? Like, how did that, you know, develop?
Oh, yeah. I was hustling on the side. I started off with an Etsy shop that's where I was selling a lot of my invitation designs, which is what I started off doing with Kitty Meow in the beginning. And I'd, you know, work my 9 to 5 and probably do a lot of design work during the workday and then go home. And, you know, I was hand making invitations at that time, which I don't do anymore. So I'd come home from work and sit in my office and, you know, tie ribbons and bows and glue paper. And it took probably about a couple years and the mental, emotional, financial support of my boyfriend at the time, now husband, to really have the confidence to go off on my own and say, okay, I'm ready to making enough money. I don't need this other job that I absolutely hate and just, you know, take a chance. And I don't know, that sounds so like on a whim, but it really took a long time for me to get the confidence to even do design work on the side. You know, I was good enough. Why would someone pay me to, you know, that wasn't at my 9 to 5 job to make something for them, you know, not on the side, but for their kids' birthday parties or whatever it was I was doing. I didn't have the confidence for a really long time. I didn't feel like I was good enough for a really long time. And, you know, it's a process.
Yeah. And so many questions. So how did you deal with pricing? Because I've, you know, sold things that are handmade too. And it's so weird because it's like a delicate balance, right? Like depending on what you're selling, you don't want to go too high to price yourself kind of like out of the market for that product. But then when you are making things by hand, it's a lot of time. And so you don't want to just be giving away things for free. So how did you navigate that?
Oh, so trial and error. And you're right. It's a lot of time and people want, you know, different special colors or special materials. And, you know, if you're going to Michael's to buy the ribbon for an invitation product, you're never going to make any money because the cost for materials there is so expensive. So you buy it online in a little bit more of a bulk form. And then you have all this product and you get into more customization, people want different colors, and then you just have all this crap that you're never using. And that's why I kind of started to steer away from the handmade invitation side. But in regards to your actual question, with pricing, I don't know, checking out what other people were charging and kind of comparing it to how I felt my work measured up to whatever that person was charging. And I used to do, you know, different offerings as far as, okay, here's your digital printable invitation file, but then there's also the option for me to hand make something for you. And again, trial and error. I don't do digital invites anymore because I feel that it totally just cuts my profit. There's like no money in it because most of the time, if people have the option to pay a lot less, they will, whether it's going to take so much more time and execution for them to do it. Yeah. So
they're still going to always go for the cheaper option. Even if their printer is terrible, they'll be like, oh, I'll just go ahead and print it myself. When it's like, oh, no, you really should just buy like the hard copy version of this.
Yeah. So as time went on, I got a clear understanding of who exactly my customer was. And I was in the beginning trying to appeal to everyone, the budget person, the person with a lot of money. And now I know that my customer is someone who, I mean, this sounds greedy, but my customer is someone who has a lot of money to spend on something that's not exactly necessary, like paper goods. And I'm totally okay with saying that.
But that makes total sense. I forgot who I was talking to. It might have even been on the podcast because like when you look at like the people that you're pitching to, there are different levels of people. You want, like for you, to me, when I look at, because I'm a stationery junkie, right? So your customer to me is people like me. So people who have disposable income and who have like an obsession with stationery. So if you're targeting those type of people who have that disposable income, who value like, you know, cards that are well designed and gifts that are well designed, then, you know, I feel like it's okay to charge the price that it's worth and just target the people that will be willing to pay those type of prices.
Exactly. And I always tell my customers, hey, I know you can find something cheaper on a big box website store, but that's not what I'm about. Like, I'm about offering you an excellent, one-of-a-kind customer service experience. Then I'm going to not treat you just like another number. We're going to work through this process together. I'm going to properly communicate with you. So that's the basis of my business. I'm not trying to make a quick buck, or I'm not trying to compete with like Minted or Wedding Paper Divas, or, I mean, those are great, but that's not my customer.
Right. It's just a different type of customer. And then for people who've been following me a while, they know, like, cause even on Instagram, I'll post about my little stationery shopping sprees. So like, there are people who like, you will never find me buying a card from Target. And it's no offense of Target. And if somebody gives me a Target card, I love it. But just for me, I just love those like specialty cards, or, you know, that no one else can get, you know, and that's, you know your type of customer. And then, so it sounds like, because one of the questions to back up, I was going to have for you is, how did you even find, you know, customers in the beginning? And then how did it morph into you discovering like who your customer really is?
Great question. So I feel that I kind of got lucky. I had this one owl baby shower design that was pretty popular in my shop for the very beginning. And now I don't even sell it. I really don't even focus my business a whole lot on invitations. But I had one client that wanted me to redesign it for her daughter's birth announcement. And I mean, this client has been with me from the very beginning. She's just so awesome. She gave me a chance, and then she recommended me to all of her friends and family who love to throw big, lavish parties 2-3 times a year, and building a relationship with them and their family. I feel like I got the confidence to do more designs, to charge what I know I'm worth, and I know that they had the money to pay me, so I didn't feel bad charging them. I think most of the time as business owners, we feel bad for our customer, like no one's going to want to pay for that, but we're the one who suffers because, you know, we're doing all the work and paying for the materials. And just because something's expensive doesn't mean that we're going to make a huge profit off of it. But, you know, this family that let me into really their inner circle. And I mean, yeah, that's really just, I send them Christmas gifts every year. I let them know that all the time, because I don't think I would be where I am now if it wasn't for their love and support.
Interesting. And how was it? Because I know some people in our audience might be right at the beginning, and they only have maybe 1 or 2 customers. Most of them are friends and family. How did you get past the like, oh my goodness, I'm not really making any money? Is this going to, you know, turn out to be anything? Or do you feel like you were able to get that momentum pretty quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to come across like I'm over here years later rolling in the dough. That's not the case. I definitely made a lot more money in my corporate designer job, and I actually invest pretty much all the money I make back into my business because I'm lucky to be able to do so at this point in my life. But you just got to keep doing it, and that sounds so basic, but the more you do it, the more confidence you get, the easier it is to put yourself out there. And I mean, yeah, you just need to do it. You just need to go after it. You need to keep going after it. You need to keep showing up. Love on the customers that you already have. Sometimes I think we get caught up with, we need more customers, like more, more, more. But let's really nurture the ones who already believe in us. And I know that your business will grow tenfold because you're showing the people who love you, already love back.
Mm-hmm. And then, we've talked a little bit about like you do cards, but can you tell the audience a little bit more about what you currently sell on your website?
So currently I still sell invitations, but I also have launched a line of greeting cards, and now I'm getting more into party products. So like party products, they're still paper related. I have a line of pencils with witty sayings. The whole Kitty Meow website is set up so where you can shop stationery based on your mood. If you're feeling kind of witty and funny, rude and inappropriate, you can shop that section of all the products that I offer. And if you're feeling more sweet sentiments, you can go check out those like sweet cards and love cards and kiddo birthday invitations. But for the party stuff, I have coasters and napkins and drink stir sticks. And now I'm in the process of designing my own line of party plates and cups.
Oh, wow.
So I'm working on manufacturing in China for that stuff. And that's like a whole new ballgame for me. But I'm trying to really develop my line as to be sold as a collection, not just bits and pieces.
Very cool. And then for those of you guys who are listening, if you're not driving, definitely as we're talking, go check out her website at kittymeowboutique.com. That's kittymeowboutique.com because your products are absolutely amazing. They're so beautiful. And so, just to back up a little bit, one of the questions I also had was how, you were making everything by hand initially. So how did you transition to like working with a printer? Like, what did that look like?
Girl, I used to get my files set up, go stand in line at Office Max with my paper in hand, and then I'd hand cut these things and glue them and ribbon. I mean, it was just like such a time suck. And I was just thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing? I need
because they don't know about anything necessarily that you're trying to do. It's not like a professional print shop, right? It's like, they're just like, hey, there's a template here. Give me your files. Okay. What do you want? I'll try to make it by your deadline.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was just I'd go there after work with my files set up, 2 5x7 invitations on a page and try to tell them, okay, don't shrink it because then you shrink my invitation. But somehow their printer settings are always manually set up to mess it up. And so I started looking for companies that had awesome paper selections that could easily print, a standard 5x7 or whatever I needed in small quantities and in higher quantities. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, it sounds so lame and basic, but I don't know why it took me so long to think that places or printers like that existed.
But I think it's tricky, right? Because you didn't want to spend any unnecessary money. So you're probably like, okay, let me just do all of this by hand until I figure out if this is a business or not. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe I should step it up a notch and not, spend my nights and weekends pasting, gluing, printing, and all the things.
Yes, you're so right. I thought I was saving money. And I was not saving money because, time is money, as cliche as that sounds. I was wasting money. I was wasting time. I probably wasn't giving as good of a product as my designs deserved because, I mean, honestly, if you're getting stuff printed at Office Max, wherever, the print quality is very up and down depending on if they have their ink cartridges full or, whatever. It was not consistent. Even hand cutting stuff, it's sometimes not the greatest. And so I knew if I wanted to take my business to the next level, I needed to step it up a notch, networking with people who were doing the same thing I was and could offer tips and suggestions. Like that was huge. And to be able to find that community about, 2 years into doing my own thing was life-changing for me.
And then I'm assuming because you mentioned several different states that you lived in. So I'm assuming you just found good printers in each one of those states to work with every time you made a move.
Every time I made a move, most of the stuff I was doing was online anyway. So it didn't really matter where I was. They'd ship it to my house. And now I have a couple different printers that I use for different things. And depending on, how much I want to spend or the quantities or how fast I need it. So I have a good grasp on so many printers. And if I could never step into an Office Max again, I think so happy.
And then also, did you ever get into wholesale?
Yes. So last year I launched my greeting card collection into wholesale. And that's really what I'm focusing on at this point in my business. I have Kitty Meow products sold in about 10 stores over the country, and I work really, really hard with my virtual assistant every day to pitch my line to more stores. I'm doing my first trade show in Brooklyn in May. So, I'm excited, and I feel like this is how I'm kind of streamlining my business with offering products that I already have designed, I already have in stock. It gets really time consuming to constantly do custom work, and it's not always a huge profit because it does take so much of my time. So trying to sell what I have, and I have a lot of cards in my studio. Shopping over here.
Right. And then also, what year would you say you officially started?
Officially, probably about 2012. My gosh, that's so far away.
Long ago, right? And then what year did you quit, and what made you say okay, it's time for me to do this full time? Did you have a number that you were looking for? But if you could just roughly give the year and then how you ended up making that decision.
I left my corporate job in 2012. So I feel like it probably took me, even though I quit in 2012, I was kind of flying by the seat of my pants in the beginning stages of my business. Probably wasn't about an additional 1 to 2 years in that I had a grasp on, I could confidently say I knew what I was doing. But I wanted to save up enough money that I had 3 months of savings to, pay for whatever bills that I needed. And, I can't discount the fact that I knew I had the support of my boyfriend, fiance, whatever he was at the time. So that's that's a big safety net. So, but I did have the money saved up, and I knew that if I could give it my all full time, that I could make even more money.
Yeah, and it sounds like, from when you started it wasn't too far after that you were like, okay, I've got my money saved up, and be at the end of 2012 or whatever, you're like, okay, let me go out on a limb here. How scary was that?
It was really scary. But I was kind of used to doing scary things. It was scary for me to move to Las Vegas, not really knowing anyone after I graduated from college. I had a lot of ups and downs with my design job, with quitting one, and then I ended up moving back to Chicago for a short period, and then got offered a job from a competitor company back in Las Vegas. So I moved back to Las Vegas, And about 3 months after I started that job, they actually fired me, which was, I don't know if fire is the right word because there wasn't like a one thing, but they let me go because basically I just wasn't cutting it. And then I'm like, oh crap, I moved back here.
Right. You're like, I just moved back here.
I started another design job with a different company. That was okay in the beginning, but it was totally not fulfilling. And with that job, I was able to build my business on the side. And I was so miserable there that I was like, okay, I need to make this work because this isn't working for me. And I'm tired of working for somebody else. I'm tired of building up someone else's dream. I have dreams of my own, and I want to put in the work for myself and see the reward in that.
No, very cool. And then at what point did you say like, okay, I need to get a VA, a virtual assistant?
Oh, the VA journey. I probably thought I needed a VA in the beginning stages when I didn't really know what I wanted the VA to do. I just knew that I was busy but like going into it with that mentality, like not knowing exactly what you need your person to do means that you are not ready for a VA. I had one great girl who did some stuff for me in my Etsy shop, and then we ended up parting ways because I entered a slower season in my business. And when I wanted to pick her back up again, she wasn't available because she was doing her own thing. And then I went through a couple really like awful experiences with VAs because I wasn't smart about, asking the right questions uphand and trusting my gut and just the initial vibe I got from these people. And that was like a total learning experience. And now I'm an advocate of asking the right questions with a VA and just knowing what to look for. And now my VA, Jacqueline, like she is freaking amazing. She cares for business. Like she's just a genuine, honest person. And those are the kind of people that you need working for your business. People who share the same values that you do. And sometimes I think we forget to ask those questions up front.
And it seems like a lot of times with people that I've talked to that have VAs, they say you, number one, get some time back to just like live a little bit more. And then two, it sometimes even helps you increase profits because you now have somebody focusing on certain things, be it marketing or social media or whatever. So did you find that to be true for you too?
Oh, absolutely. And if we want to grow, like we can't do it all. Right. Now I have 2 small children and I try to balance being a work at home mom and, everything. And I need someone to like just do some basic things for me. And, Jacqueline, she's really great. She manages my Etsy shop. She schedules pins for me via Tailwind. She does a whole lot of wholesale reach out to new stores to pitch the Kitty Meow line and follows up with them. So all of that stuff, it's not always rocket science, but it's like a huge time investment. And I seem to be focusing my time on designing things or trying to make party plates in China.
Right. No, that's very cool. Very cool. And then, you mentioned that you are going to do like your first trade show in Brooklyn this year. How are you preparing for that? Because you got to like ship or take everything with you. I mean, that just seems like, it's like worth it, but I know it's like a lot of work. So how are you preparing for that?
So luckily, this is the first show that the Greeting Card Association is doing, and the show is called Noted. But their whole vibe with the show is that they want to make it easier for people to do a trade show. So with the National Stationery Show, like you need to bring your own walls, you need to bring your own floor, you need to bring literally everything. They give you a concrete block, and that's, you're supposed to do with it. But with the Noted show by the GCA, I mean, they're giving you the walls, they're giving you shelving, they're giving you lighting. So they're really making it easier for, like a newer business. I mean, I'm not newer, but I'm newer to the wholesale world to, just show up, and it's not as easy as that, but I'm going to hop on a plane to New York from Chicago with some boxes of greeting cards and a sign and, more than that, but I don't need to ship a bunch of stuff. I don't need to send a pallet or freight across. It's a little bit more manageable.
Oh, no, that is amazing. Yeah, because I've listened to some other podcasts that talk about trade shows, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know how people do it. Right, you got to bring your own walls, and right, it's just like this your own tables, and it's just like this whole process where you got to get over the stress of doing that, and then calm down so you could be able to sell to all of these companies. But this Noted show sounds amazing.
And I still want to do the National Stationery Show. But I thought that this Noted show with the GCA would be a good starting and learning point for me to get my feet wet into the scary world of trade shows.
Yeah. And then as we wrap up here, I'm just curious, what would you say are your best-selling items?
My best-selling items? Anything with swear words. Honestly, greeting cards that I have designed with a specific person in mind that really come from my heart, even if it does have a swear word on it, those are my top selling ones. I have this card that, says something what does it say? Basically, you have cancer and I'm sorry, but I told that cancer you're going to give it a ass whooping.
So it's like those cards that it feels as if you're actually you wrote this card. If I bought that card, it's and gave it to a friend. It feels like I'm using my words. It doesn't feel so scripted.
Yeah, and I designed that card for a friend of mine who had breast cancer, and so it really came from the heart. And I think things like that really stand out, and your customers can tell that it's something special about it.
Yeah. And then I wanted to ask you just about customer service and packaging, because I feel, I was talking to someone else the other day that sometimes people miss the boat with that, and so they might have this great product, but when you receive it in the mail, you're like, what is this? The package is half open, or it looks like, just something really suspect. So for you, how is I just know your packaging has to be beautiful. So how did you come up with your packaging and just deal with, customer service and all that good stuff?
Yeah. So I think the packaging is a small part of the customer service experience, and it took a while for me to develop that. In the beginning, I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I was trying to hoard all my profits.
Right.
Even just something simple like wrapping it in tissue paper of your brand colors, or, sealing it with a sticker with your logo on it. And if you don't want to spend the money to get custom stickers printed, like a sticker, or tie it with a ribbon. And I'm so huge on handwritten notes that having something as simple as that in your packaging makes a big difference, makes someone feel special. And I get you can't do that on every single item that you send out, especially if you start getting super high volume, but you can do something even generic, like a pre-printed thank you note, that you didn't handwrite. I'm super huge on saying thank you. Don't think it costs anything or much to be polite, like my grandma always used to say. But yeah, just little details. It's all about the details and making people feel loved and special. If you want to just a quick fix, then you order off Amazon. You don't do that when you want, when you spend the money to buy something from a small business.
For sure. And then as far as the other side of customer service, do you have any tips for people just to make sure that they're, keeping good ongoing customer relations?
Yes. I always say that customer service is like being in a healthy relationship that you just want to communicate, constantly communicate with your customer. When they place an order, let them know how excited you are to have received that order, and then tell them what the next step is, when they should be expecting it to ship out. And then once it ships out, giving them their tracking number. And then the next part where I feel like people totally miss the boat is that they don't follow up with their customer after they receive the product, because you want to circle back with them and say, hey, just want to make sure that you received your order and you totally loved it. If there's anything else I can do for you, I hope to earn your business again in the future. This is a good time where you can ask them to leave a positive review for your business. Just letting them know that, you're still here. You care about them receiving their gift. I hate when I'm talking with someone back and forth about a product and I get it and I feel like, oh yeah, we've developed this relationship, and then they never, check to see that I'm okay afterwards.
Right. It's just like, okay. Not like, hey, did your package, did you get your package? What do you think about the product? Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. And that doesn't need to be super time consuming. I have scripts that I just do a quick copy and paste and personalize if needed. Streamlining your business, making it super simple. If you have repeated tasks, save that information so you're not constantly typing up the same message over and over again. So it doesn't need to be a huge time commitment. It just needs to be an organized one.
Yes. You guys, you people out there, you go, no, I'm all about processes. Have a process. So just a couple of wrap-up questions. The first question is, how do you stay organized?
I write everything down like a crazy person. I got lists on lists, and I actually like to handwrite them and find joy in checking them off. Sometimes I'll write it even though I know it's already done, just so I can check it off.
I know it is something just magical about seeing a list of everything checked off or little X's by it. And then you're like, I feel like I've done something today. Like I've accomplished something.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about the mindset.
Yeah.
But I have Trello boards and emails. I organize a lot of stuff within my emails. So yeah. It needs to be in my face. If I put it somewhere where I can't see it, then all hell breaks loose and I'm in trouble.
And then what's your favorite tool or software?
Probably all my Adobe design. I'm a big Photoshop person. I probably use a handful of programs for different things, Illustrator for vector files, but Photoshop's my go-to, even for designing invitations or greeting cards, stuff that has nothing to do with photos. But I could not live without those, and I'm really upset when they started charging you a monthly fee to use them. But I need them, so I have no choice.
And then last question is, can you just let the listeners know where to find you, your website, and any social media handles or anything else that you want them to know about?
Yeah, so you can shop witty or sweet stationery goods on the Kitty Meow website at www.kittymeowboutique.com. You can find me on Instagram, posting pictures of party goods or my two little girls or me talking ridiculous or sometimes vulnerable about my life on Instagram at Kitty Meow Boutique. I'm also on Etsy, but please, I prefer that you shop on my own Kitty Meow website. Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Well, your stuff is amazing. So people out there, if you are a stationery junkie like myself, definitely check it out. Her invitation, everything about the site is beautiful. Even there's coasters on there and little stir sticks. I mean, there's all kind of stuff. Pencils. It's the cutest site. It's a stationery junkie's dream.
Can I offer a random or impromptu coupon code to all your listeners?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I'm making it up right now. Let's do Kitty Nache. That's KITTYNACHE. And we'll do 30% off. Kitty Nache 30. And you can enter that into the Kitty Meow website to take 30% off your purchase. And I hope you do.
Sweet. Okay, people, go ahead. I'm all about bringing snail mail back also. So get your cards, get them now. Just buy them in bulk like I do. And and support a boutique also. Stop buying all those big brand stuff. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you just sharing your story and your journey with us and your lessons learned. And I know you're going to inspire somebody else to just go for it and have the confidence to do it. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Nache. I'm so excited to be here, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
Great story, right, folks? Thank you so much, Katherine, also for giving us that coupon code. So for those of you guys who are addicted to stationery like me, head on over to kittymeowboutique.com and enter that 30% off code before it expires. KITTYNACHE 30, Kitty Nache 30. I absolutely love her stuff. If you guys follow me on Instagram at Nache Snow, if you go into my IG stories, I even did an unboxing of her cards. They are beautiful. The quality is amazing. So I can't say enough about them. And if you are thinking about doing a product-based business or you already have a product-based business, definitely, listen to her tips on customer service again and really make sure you're implementing them in your business, because I feel like they do make a difference. Letting people know that you're excited that they received your order, tell your customers what to expect next. Once it ships, give them the tracking number, and then that follow up. I think that is key. I think sometimes even when I'm selling stuff, I forget to do that. Like, hey, how did you like the Life Cleanse journal? Please tell me how you're using it. Please, send me a photo, share it on social media. So she's so right. That is a step we often forget, but it's like a key step in building those relationships. Okay, so y'all, don't forget to go over to iTunes. And if you love this episode, please rate me 5 stars. I love you forever and ever. And also, if you know somebody that would benefit from the contents of this show, please share it with them. Share it on social media. Share. It really helps people discover the show. And I hope that you guys will be at the summit virtually, of course, and checking out my presentation and the presentation of the other amazing women that are a part of it. And that is nachesnow.com/boss project to get your free ticket. And then last but not least, I'll just say, if you want to check the show notes out for this particular episode, just go on over to nachesnow.com/80. And I put some links in there from some of the things that she mentioned, like the Greeting Cards Association, noted the Greeting Cards Expo, and then anything else she may have mentioned that you might find useful. All right. Well, have a beautiful week, people. Take care. Bye.